So working on the Liberty again today. Going to be working on the parking brakes. So first thing I'm going to do is take the back wheels off, and I'm going to see what we're dealing with. Now, this is our parking brake cable that comes to the rear brakes. As you can see, it's a disc brake, and it'll have a drum brake on the inside that'll be the parking brake. So first thing I'm going to do is check and make sure that it's not the cable itself that's seized. So what I'm going to do is set up my camera and see if the cable is even moving. If the cable doesn't move at all, then I'll know that it's a problem with the cable itself. If I do see movement in the cable, then I can look further and see what else the problem might be. So I did the test on both sides, and as you could see, the cable itself was moving freely. The lever did feel tight when I pulled on it, so something inside isn't moving the way it's supposed to. So what I'm going to do now is take the brake calipers off, so I can take the disc off, and then I'll be able to see inside there and see either if the pads are bad or if something's seized on the inside as well. Okay, so I'm taking the caliper off now. There's just two 13mm bolts on the back side, just one here and one down here. That's all you remove, and then the caliper should just slide off, assuming it's not rusted on. So put this out of the way, just make sure you're not putting any tension on the hose there. So that seems to be a good spot there. And then the rotor or disc should just come right off. Now we'll have a look and see how bad this is. So looking at it already, you can see all the rust in there. So something is seized in there, or judging by these shoes, they've never been replaced before either. They're pretty rusty, so I'll probably end up lubing everything up on the inside there and changing the shoes out, and then that should fix the problem. I got the passenger side finished, so pretty well the process was you remove the top spring first. So you hook this side first with a pair of pliers, and then the other side just slips out. And then on the bottom side, you have the bottom spring and the adjuster. Once you take those off, then you have these two clips, and one on this side and one here. And pretty much the idea is you just press down on here, and it's just kind of springy. So when you push it down, then the tip just slips out, and then both shoes will come out, and then installation is just the exact reverse. Alright, so I got the passenger side finished. I got started on the driver's side now. So here's kind of a layout of how the brake shoes and springs, it's all set up. So you got your, this is the top spring here, and then you have the adjuster, the bottom spring, and then these two retainer clips holding the shoes in place. And this is what the hub assembly looks like. So these pins sticking out here, these are what those retainer clips hook onto, and that's what holds the shoes in place. And then this is the mechanism up here that the cable attaches to, and then that's what pushes the brake shoes against the brake rotor. So it's a good idea to try and get in here with some penetrating fluid and just trying to loosen up all these rusty parts again, get them all moving the way they should, and then we can reinstall with the new pads. So I'm working on cleaning up the adjusting screw right now. So as you can see, it does turn freely, but as soon as it gets to the point where it was rusted on, then it stops turning again. So what I've done is sprayed some WD-40 on there, or any penetrating fluid will work. Some guys will use a wire brush. I just kind of had difficulty holding on to it and using a wire brush, so it's not turning too hard, but what I would do is take the WD-40 and spray it on the threads, and then just gently turn the screw in and out, and eventually that'll loosen it up and clean it. If you feel it's turning too hard, don't force it. You don't want to all of a sudden strip the threads, but in this case this seems to be working, so I'll do this a couple more times and get it good and loose, and then it'll be ready for install. Okay, so I got the adjusting screw all cleaned up, so it's spinning freely now. So should be good enough. Also sprayed some white lithium grease on the inside here. Not really much for moving parts, but it'll kind of keep the moisture out of there, so it doesn't hurt to grease it up and then just kind of prevent the rust. There's the moving parts up here where the cable goes to, so I greased those up real good too. They're moving freely, so again that'll prevent the rust as well. And now we're going to start installing the shoes and the clips. That'll be the next step. So again, here's the driver's side. So we got the new shoes in place, the retaining spring on top, again, the two clips holding the shoes in place, and then the bottom springs and adjusters. Alright, so with the new shoes installed, then you slip the rotor back on. And sometimes it might be a little tight because the shoes have a lot more material on them. So on the passenger side it was fairly straightforward, it just slipped on, but this one I had to pound it on a little bit. So this one is a little tight, but it's not over tight, so it's not like I had to really beat on the thing. I just had to pound it a little bit to get it on there. If it's super tight, then it may require adjustment. Alright, so I got the wheel on now, and I was just going to start torquing it before lowering it to the ground just to see how tight this actually was. But now that I actually have the wheel on here, you can kind of see that it does move. So even though it felt tight in the beginning when I had to pound the rotor on there a little bit, it's kind of loosened up already just with putting the wheel on. So a little bit of driving and then it'll wear in, and then we'll be good to go, I think. So I had the Jeep out for a test drive and went up and down the driveway a couple of times to test out the parking brake, and it still doesn't seem to be grabbing. So even with the new shoes on there, it's still not working. So now we're gonna have to adjust the brakes. So what you're gonna do is get in behind the brakes here, the brake plate, and there'll be a rubber grommet right here. It should just pull out. And that's going to give you access to the adjusting screw. So you can kind of see in there, that's where the adjusting screw is. So you got to get in there with a screwdriver or something and start to turn it, and then that's going to tighten up the brake shoes. They do make a special tool for it, but I don't have one, so I'm just going to use a screwdriver, and you just turn it, and what that's going to do is push the shoes outwards against the rotor. And then that way when you pull on the lever, then it's going to be a lot tighter, and then it'll grab.